Hello students, so I am back for class 9th main book Beehive, and today we are doing second chapter, The Sound of Music, and this is second part of this second chapter. The second part is on a legendary musician, Bismillah Khan, and the title of this second part is The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So we can say this is the journey of this Shehnai Wadak, Bismillah Khan, this musician and his instrument. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. There used to be an instrument called pungi, but Aurangzeb banned this. Why? Because he did not like the sound of this pungi. According to him, it was having a very shrill sound, devoid of any music in it, maybe very disturbing to the ears, and that's why he banned this. Pungi became the generic name for reed noise makers, and this pungi became a name that whenever someone would be giving some instrument, would be giving some unpleasant sound, some reed would be giving some unpleasant sound, and this name would be taken. This is pungi. Means pungi became very negative that way. Few had thought that it would one day be revived, and that's why, because now everybody was taking it in a negative way only, taking this name. And that's why very few people had ever imagined that this pungi can be revived also, and maybe in the time to come, in future, it would be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So after few years, a barber only decided that he will improve this pungi. He will bring improvement in the tonal quality so that the sound becomes more, we can say, pleasant to the ears. So he decided to bring a quality to this pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. So this is one thing he did. That he chose one hollow stem and it was broader and longer, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe, and on this pipe he made 7 holes, and when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced, and he was successful. When he tried to play music, closing and opening of few holes, he was successful in his efforts, because now it was giving very pleasant music. He played the instrument before royalty, and everyone was impressed. In the courts also, now people were happy. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name, because this instrument was very, very different from pungi, longer, broader, and sound-wise also, and that's why it was decided that this instrument should be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a Nai, Hindi name barber, played by a Nai means barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So this is one of the stories behind the name Shehnai, because it was firstly played and we can say discovered by a barber only, a Nai only, and it was played. And underline these lines because you may get short question or maybe MCQ, kind of question, that how it got its name. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and very soon people started taking this Shehnai as a very good thing, not negative. It became very positive, giving positive vibes. So sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious is which is very good, which can bring good fortune, good luck. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding, because it is auspicious it can bring good fortune, it can bring good luck, and that's why it was played in temples and in weddings also. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Now, because Shehnai was taken as auspicious instrument and people had loved it, and that's why it was then taken as one of the instruments in the royal courts. So there were 9 music instruments, okay, played in royal courts, and out of these 9, Shehnai was one. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. So earlier, before Bismillah Khan, it was played only in weddings and temples. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. But then, when Bismillah Khan, we can say, took the stage, he started playing this Shehnai, then the fortune of the Shehnai also changed. Now it was taken as classical, we can say, one of the classical instruments. Okay, people now, or common people also got a chance to hear the sound, hear the music of Shehnai, and credit goes to Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. So we can say from here we get to know that Bismillah Khan belonged to Bihar basically. And his childhood was a normal childhood. Okay, any normal childhood, 5-year-old child playing Gilli Danda in the street with his friends. So he was also like that. But he had got a very sweet voice. He would regularly go to a nearby Bihari Ji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. And after singing this chaita, he would be getting a reward from the local Maharaja for his sweet singing. And it used to be a laddu, okay, weighing 1.25 kg. So his journey started with that reward of laddu. But then this happened 80 years ago, and the little boy was travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So the journey started from a big laddu as a reward, and it ended with Bharat Ratna. Okay, so Bharat Ratna was conferred. Born on 21 March 1960, underline, you may get sometime this kind of MCQs. So born on March 21, 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So it's not that Bismillah Khan was the first in his family as a musician, no. Actually, he was born in the family of musicians only of Bihar. His grandfather, Rasool Baks Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. So he used to play Shehnai, his grandfather. Then his father, Pegambar Baks, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. So from here we get to know that he was actually born in the family of musicians only. His grandfather, his father, his paternal uncles, okay, they all were great musicians. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him. So at the age of 3, when the mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi present name, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So there he saw his uncles doing practice of Shehnai and playing Shehnai, and he was very much awestruck. He was fascinated. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baks was employed to play the Shehnai. His uncle was actually there employed in the temple as a singer. Okay, he used to sing and he used to play Shehnai over there. And here, this Bismillah Khan, he also started accompanying his uncle. Ali Baks would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Means in one corner he would sit and listen to the sweet music of this Shehnai. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. And he was so fascinated that he also started learning this instrument, and he would be practicing for hours without break. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Solitude, loneliness, that loneliness which gives you peace of mind, this kind of loneliness. Now, for years, Bismillah Khan, practiced for this Shehnai Vadan, and then he would be sitting at the banks of Ganga and he would be singing and practicing, okay, in the temple of Mangala and Balaji. And what is this word is apprentice. What is the meaning of apprentice? Apprentice is the person who learns, okay, a learner. So he was a learner. Throughout the day he would be practicing because he himself thought that he is a learner only. Okay, so for years he learned. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. And what came out from this practice? That he was so much perfect now in his music that he invented many ragas in Shehnai also, which was earlier considered that it is impossible. It was really considered impossible to have ragas through Shehnai also. But he did it. Okay, Bismillah Khan did it. Underline this portion also because you may get some question. Okay, that how come that credit goes to him for some ragas. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. Okay, at the age of 14, underline, you may get this question, at what age? Okay, so where he visited, accompanied his uncle. Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, there he got a chance to play. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, Ustad Fayaz Khan, underline, you may need somewhere in, for some short answer. Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, work hard and you shall make it. He had seen future. Okay, so that's why he said, you shall make it. With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, came Bismillah's big break. Underline, you may again get this question. When did he get big break? Okay, so don't write that at, we can say, Allahabad Music Conference he got big break. No, he didn't get break over there. He got a chance only. It was not that big. Though it was, we can say, Ustad Fayaz Khan had praised him, but even then, this big break, we can say, came when All India Radio, okay, in Lucknow started in 1938. So it was a big break for him. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio because he was having his shows on radio. Shehnai player on radio. When India gained independence from 38 to 47, okay, after we can say 9 years. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian, underline, very important, at the time of independence, he became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi, underline this. So which Rag he played on that particular day of independence? Rag Kafi. From the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So Tryst with Destiny speech was given after his program. Okay, so this is important. You have to underline this portion. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in means so surprised, pleasant surprise, okay, was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. He was so impressed that he took the Shehnai as a name for his movie. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. Very famous song. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadhi Aparna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. So why only two? Because afterwards only in some interview he said, no, this is really very difficult for me to come to terms with the artificiality of film industry. So that's why maybe after two he said goodbye to Bollywood. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. First Indian. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. Underline all these names. These are needed for your questions. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran, now this is most important, he was now that well known, internationally also, that in Tehran, an auditorium was named after him. Tahar Musiq Ustad Bismillah Khan, this is the name. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Benares and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student, this is one of the episodes, a student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benares by replicating the temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Later, he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Benares and the holy Ganga. And while in Benares, I miss the unique mutt of Dumrao, Bihar." Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. This is what he taught, that though he is a Muslim, even then he can play his music in temple every day. This is what he has shown. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21 August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given a state funeral, and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. And on this page, a piece of interview. It was asked by Shekhar Gupta, "When partition happened, didn't you and your family think of moving to Pakistan?" Very natural question coming for any Muslim, and what very beautifully he answered. What he answered? He said, "God forbid me leave Benares? Never. I went to Pakistan once. I crossed the border just to say I have been to Pakistan. He said I once went over there so that I could also say yes, I also visited Pakistan. But just for that sake only, but not to live over there. I was there for about an hour. I said namaskar to the Pakistanis and salam alaikum to the Indians. I had a good laugh. He said, no, I cannot think of leaving my India, leaving my Ganga. I cannot think anything without my Ganga, my Shehnai, and my temples where I play my music. So this is great, legendary in front of us, and his dream was only one, that every family should teach their children some kind of music because it can give peace of mind. I hope you have understood this chapter. Read it thoroughly, go thoroughly with the chapter, and wherever I have mentioned, please underline it. Now make this habit, because now you are in senior class. So make this habit of underlining so that it is easy for you to prepare for the exams. Thank you.